What's up, guys? It's the humble one, King, and I'm getting rich. It's pretty hot out here today. It's Sunday. Supposed to be getting somewhat of a little bit of that hurricane. I already knew it wasn't going to happen because they always scare people I've been living in Florida all my life. They always scare people with these hurricanes and into spending up all their money on everything, water, wood, and then the next thing you know, the storm won't even touch the coastline of Florida. So I already knew it. I told my wife that wasn't gonna happen. But anyway, guys, I'm out here to change my worm bin, to take the worms out and to store the castings for when I start my fall garden. So even though it's hot, it sounds windy, but it's really just humid and hot. So it's probably gonna rain later on today, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I'm getting ready to do. This worm bin, it's time for it to change, for me to change it out. One, because it's been in there for some months, probably like 6 months now, and it's full of nourishment and worm because my worms have just fertilized and nourished the soil. And two, because those soldier flies were in there, and I'm just gonna take those out. I'm gonna take everything out. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get started on that. Boy, is it hot out here. I'm gonna get me my shovel and get started. This is gonna be the new organic coconut coir. That's gonna be their new home. I'm gonna wet it, moisten it with warm water, pure water, filtered water, not straight out of the tap, because that water's all jacked up with fluoride and other chlorines and other carcinogens that they put in our water. So I don't ever use tap water. I always use either filtered water or water from my reverse osmosis AquaTrue water maker. So let's get started, folks. First, I'm gonna just put them inside out this cooler, because I don't have another bin to really put them into. I have this box here, but this box is too small, and my wife done took over my other bins, so I'm gonna use this to separate the worms, and then I'm gonna use my smaller mesh screen to actually separate the eggs. So it's really time consuming, so we have to really hurry up and do this. So I'm gonna show you guys what I'm doing so you can get a general idea of what's going on here. Point the camera right there. It's probably gonna have a lot of eggs in it, and a lot of these soldier fly larvae is gonna be in it, because they've been in my worm bin for a while. So it's probably gonna be plenty of those in it. But either way, I'm going to try my best to get as many as possible out, or get all of them out, really. Separate the worms And you can see it's real wet in here. And then I'm gonna put that new worm bedding in there. Just get this out of here right now. And it's not a hard process, it's just, it can be a long process because you have to, I separate the eggs and everything. So, and it may not look like a lot of soil, but it really is a lot. And what I should do is I should take this bin here and just empty it for now and put them in there, because it's really not much of nothing in here. Just a couple of like nutrients for my soil and whatnot, and aerators for my compost tea. So I'll just take these out and use it. I'll use it. It's better than using the cooler, because that really isn't. I'm messing up. I'm gonna have to wash out the cooler, so I'm just gonna use this to hold the dirt in. Try to make this as quick a process as possible. So yeah, let's go with this. And I'm probably gonna have some worms to pick up, but it's okay. Matter of fact, I'll just take this out and put in my other worm bed right away. Put the other, see, it's full of these little soldier flies. I don't know, you guys should be able to see them, but they've literally taken over my worm bin. And that's one of the reasons I'm getting them out. It's one of the reasons I'm changing it out as well. Even though they give the worm bed nutrients too. But I don't want them in my, I'm not raising soldier flies. I'm raising worms. And they literally, it's probably over 1,000 soldier flies in here, as well as worms. So I'm just gonna do it like this. Fill this cooler, or fill these. Take them out, take my worms out. Because there's plenty of them in here. I put like 100, maybe 50 to 100 worms in there. And now there's thousands in there. Because of the way they multiply. If you feed them, you're gonna get worms. Like, there's no doubt about it. If you feed them, you're going to have worms. They'll multiply. That's why you can just take 50 to 100 worms. Like, say you want to just keep starting sorry. You want to, it's real hot out here. Say you want to keep starting worm bins over and over, right? You just want to keep replicating worm bins. All you have to do is Once you get one worm being established, they're going to mate and they're going to have babies, and up until they get to a point where they see they're overpopulated, then they'll stop mating. So what you do is you just take a couple of scoops out of that worm bin, get you some coconut coir or some peat moss or whatever you want to start your worm bin with. I choose to go organic. So you do that, and then you put just a couple of handfuls out of that bin into the new bin, and give them like 1 or 2 days to get acclimated to the new bin. And once they do, you feed them. And when you feed them, they'll start to reproduce. And once they start reproducing, you'll have more worms. You don't have to do anything spectacular or special to make them reproduce. Once they see there's food, they're going to start reproducing. And before you know it, you're going to have, where there was 100 worms or 50 worms, you're going to have 1,000 worms. And you have to make sure you put them somewhere where you can keep the ants at bay and all of that, because when you feed worms, guess what? One ant will sound the alarm to the rest of his buddies, and he'll be like, hey, there's food over here. And he'll sound the alarm, and a soldier fly, they'll see it and they'll say, well, we can mate and lay our eggs in here, and our babies will have food. So they do that as well. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm getting ready to get rid of all those issues. All those issues are going to be taken care of today. And I'm going to have some good soil for some good worm castings for my garden. So that's where we're at, folks. And it's like I said, it's just in the bottom of this thing alone. As you can see, there's hardly any soil in here. But there's over 50 worms in there alone. So you'll get your worm production up really fast just by doing the little thing I told you. You don't have to buy a lot of worms from the worm farm. You can just, one time if you want, you can even dig up some worms out of your yard, because all of them are really, all of them fortify your soil and give it nutrients. So you can even dig up worms from the yard. But like I did, I went and bought some worms from the store, from the bait place. Bought me some red worms, and that's how I started off my worm farm. No lie, my worm bin. I bought some from the bait place, and then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna order some, even though they had already started multiplying. It wasn't hard. So don't be afraid to, if you want to start your own worm bin, don't be afraid. It's not hard. If I can do it, and you can do it, anybody can do it. All you have to do is just take care of them like a child. Make sure they eat. Make sure you give them new soil it depends. You can leave them in for months. I left these guys in for over 6 months. And you're going to have some of the best soil ever. When you leave them in that long, you'll get some of look at this soil. Look at the worms. Like, it's eggs in there and everything. Now all I got to do is separate these guys from separate this soil from the soldier flies and put the little worms in their new home. That's what I'm doing. And then I add the soil to this bin right here. I'm gonna wet it. I'm gonna wet it, and then boom, we back in business. So bear with me for one moment, guys. Give me a minute. You can see I'm drenched in sweat. It's very hot. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna go and get the water, and I'm gonna moisten that, and then I'm gonna begin to do the task of separating these worms. Okay? So give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, I'm back. So now I'm just gonna wet this like I told you. Wet this up. You wanna get it good and wet, because it's been sitting for a while waiting on me to do this. So I'm just gonna get it nice and wet. Oh, okay. Good and wet. All right. So guys, I'll be back in a snap. I'm back, just like that. I don't care. So you seen that I moistened the soil, well, the bedding for the worms. I've moistened it. It's good to go. All I have to do now, what I like to do, is get some cardboard and line the bottom of the bed, and then once I get the cardboard, line the bottom of the bed, I put that coconut core in there, and then I'll get another layer of cardboard, because they also like to eat cardboard for whatever reason. But I'll give them another bit of cardboard in there to comfort them, some comfort food, and then I'll just fill it the rest of the way up with the bedding, with the coconut core. So put this in here. That's where they live. I'm gonna dismantle this box. This is the hydrate alkaline water I used to drink before I bought my reverse osmosis filter. And I can honestly say that filter saved me a lot of money versus, buying this water. This water used to cost $4 a gallon. And go on sale, they'll have it for $3.50 a gallon, but it was $4 a gallon. I spent $200 on my reverse osmosis filter, and trust me, it has paid for itself by leaps and bounds already. And I haven't even had it a year. I've had it maybe 6 months. It's already paid for itself. So you guys might want to look into getting yourselves one of those. And the water tastes great, by the way. I also have a water tester, and it's true. They do what they say they do. So yeah, let me bring you guys over here so you can get up close and personal with me. Let me spin you around. We're filming from different angles, so spin you around now so you can see what I'm doing. I'm putting the cardboard in here. And I usually cut it precisely to fit, but since I don't have my scissors, I have little, very small holes in the bottom of this bin. And the reason for that is to give, you know, when you moisten the soil, you don't want it to over moisten. You want it to have somewhere to drain out. So that's what I do. I give it that drainage, which is in the bottom right here in this drain pan I have. You don't have to do that, but I choose to do it. This is just the way I do it. There's no set way set in stone to do it. It's just the way I choose. So again,